So I went viral on Instagram and I completely regret it. Give me a few moments to explain why, but also what I would do differently had I had a chance to start over. So some backstory is last year, I had an account that had been running for about 2 years. It was a faceless account. And on the account, I was sharing fonts and designs that other designers were creating. And that resource did really well. The page grew slowly but surely. And within about 3-ish years, we reached almost 10,000 followers. And the growth was great, but I feel like within that amount of time, I wanted it to go a little faster, but also I wanted to switch over to my personal brand. I wanted to build that. I feel like I had some expertise and knowledge that I wanted to share. And so I knew that through that, I couldn't do it through a faceless account. So what I did was at the end of 2023, I switched it over to my personal brand. Long story short, through that process, started declining as far as the traction I had already built through that account. And because of that, I decided to start a series where I shared a new font, which was free, every single day for the next 30 days. Little did I know that that series was going to be the catalyst that was going to propel me forward into where I am today. So in those 30 days last year, in the beginning, I think it was February is when I did the series, I gained millions of views on Instagram and I got tens of thousands of followers. Like I literally remember waking up one morning and I was at like almost, maybe I was at 10,000. I forget, but I think I was at 10,000. And I think I opened my Instagram and overnight was like, I was at 20 and then 30 and then 40 and it just kept growing. Like I remember my friends, a friend of mine made me a cake that was like 40 something thousand followers. And then literally 2 weeks later, I was at like 70. It was so wild, all because of this series. And you might be thinking, well, that's amazing. What's wrong with going viral? Well, the thing that's wrong with going viral, at least in my case, was the way that I went about going viral. Because what happened was people were not following me for me. They were following me because of the information that I can give. What do I mean by that? Well, I essentially became the middleman for the thing that I was providing. In this case, it was fonts. And then after that, I did a series where I talked about creative websites to use. So essentially, I was just finding stuff on the internet and sharing it to people. And while that may seem awesome and people were following me because of it, because they were like, well, if this dude's giving me free fonts, I want to keep following him for the free stuff it can give me going forward. The issue with that, though, is that anytime I went outside of that box or went outside of what content was doing well, my engagement went down. And it didn't just go down, it went way down. Like you can see a dramatic difference in that type of content versus when I shared free resources. And I don't know, I think looking back on it now, I would have totally done things differently. The thing about it is I know that if you grow fast, then the loyalty that you gain is not going to be as much as if you grow slowly, but you gain loyalty over the long run. So my issue with going viral sometimes is it really depends on what you are going viral for. Because if you're not going because if you go viral for the piece of content that you don't want to go viral for, then that's going to create a whole world of issues in the long run if you're trying to build something sustainable. Make sure that the content you're putting out is the content you're okay with eventually going viral for. Because if not, all you're going to do is put yourself in a box that you eventually want to break out of because you're miserable and you don't want to keep creating that type of content. I want people to follow me for me. I want people to follow me because they enjoy my story. They appreciate the knowledge that I give them and the thoughts that I can provide. And what I found was through creating content the way that I really wasn't able to garner that type of audience. And if you look at my analytics right now, it's very, I've been very stagnant because people are following me, but a lot of people are also unfollowing me. It's pretty even at this point, followers to unfollows. And I think that all attributes to the way and how fast I gained a following. Now, I don't want this video to feel like I'm ungrateful, that I'm coming from a place that I'm not thankful, because I'm so grateful for where I'm at today, how I got here, the steps that it took, because without it, I wouldn't have learned what I've learned going forward. However, when I say regret, I say it loosely because I am grateful, but I also wish that I had done it a little differently. I wish I would have played the game a little more strategic, a little smarter. And again, when you play it that way, you don't grow as fast as you would otherwise. However, I think long term, the loyalty of the audience that you gain is way better. So right now, followers don't really matter. Followers don't matter as much as they used to 10 years ago, 5 years ago. All that matters right now, especially in this world of AI, is as a human being, being a human being, showing your story, showing where you've come from, giving life lessons, but also sharing value in the content that you're providing. So I feel like I've seen a lot of content creators, either on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, where they gained a very fast following because of the information they gave. However, once they stop giving that information and they share more of their personal side, that's where things start to take a dip and people start to unfollow and leave because they don't really care about you. They care about the information that you're giving them. So I would do things differently. And if you're watching this and you're wanting to build your personal brand online, what I would do is take the slower approach. I would find ways to share more of who I am entwined with the information I'm giving. I would be okay with the slow growth, and I wouldn't act so desperately to try to get the views and the follows. I would understand that it's more about consistency over the long term than it is about sprinting and going fast and let's get there as quick as we can. Because again, with that, there are some downsides to going viral, gaining a bunch of followers overnight. So my approach is I'm going to take things slower. I'm going to be okay with the slower growth, and I'm going to figure out ways to incorporate value, but also me as a person and who I am. And hopefully through that, people will then want to follow me for me, because you see it all the time. Celebrities, take somebody like Sabrina Carpenter, that's who comes to mind. She's at the peak right now of who she is as a celebrity, and anything that she touches turns into gold. So she did a collaboration with Dunkin' Donuts. She doesn't drink coffee, I'm sure, like that, or she's not a barista. Her brand is not tied around coffee. However, she had a song called Espresso. She did this collaboration, and everybody is flocking to go try this drink because it's tied to Sabrina Carpenter. There are so many other celebrities that you can think of that have created brands or collaborated with brands that don't necessarily tie to who they are. However, because it's them, people are going to go support them. So that's what I'm trying to foster with this community and with this audience that I've been able to try to build. The cool thing is that people have stuck around. Some people have actually stuck around from the font videos I used to make. But it's funny because when I first started and I gained the attention, I would literally be in public sometimes. It happened a few times where people recognize me and they're like, "Oh, you're the font guy, or aren't you the guy that you would share fonts? Like I followed you because of that." And so it wasn't all bad. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of good that came along with it, a lot of opportunities and doors that were open. But I'm making this video to say that I would do it differently. I would take a slower approach, similar to losing weight, right? Slow and steady wins the race. If I go and take these drastic measures to lose a bunch of weight, more than likely I'm going to rebound and get it all back. But if I go the slower approach, more sustainable approach, in the long term, it may take 2, 3, 4 times as long, but I know that I'm going to be able to have permanent results that I can actually go forward with and be happy with. So that's what this video was about. I just wanted to get that off my chest, because I feel like people see people go viral and they think it's incredible, it's amazing, and it's really not all it's cracked up to be. There are some negatives to going viral that I don't think people talk about enough. And if I were to do it all over again, I would do it differently, and I would take the slower approach, because in the long run, things would be a whole lot better. So, yeah.